Sunlu has just launched their AMS Heater Upgrade to the Bambu Lab AMS, or Automatic Material System unit. So let's take a first look at it, as well as compare its features to the Bambu Lab recently launched AMS 2 Pro. Let's find out when it makes sense to buy the Sunlu AMS Heater Upgrade versus buying the Bambu Lab AMS 2 Pro, and vice versa. Hi, this is Cannabis Innovations, and I'm excited to share with you my first look of Sunlu's new AMS Heater Upgrade to the existing Bambu Lab AMS Filament unit, which just launched yesterday, July 10th. I want to thank Sunlu for sending me a beta version of their AMS Heater Upgrade module for my evaluation. So, let's get started. So, what is the Sunlu AMS Heater Upgrade? It's an upgrade module designed to be installed on existing Bambu Lab AMS units that offers filament drying for the filament spools within the AMS. It's easily mounted on the AMS and it operates independently of the AMS. So it has its own power supply, controls, and user interface. Since it operates independently from the AMS, any Bambu Lab firmware changes have no impact on the operation of the Sunlu heater module. So now, let's dig into the features of the Sunlu heater module and compare it to the Bambu Lab AMS 2 Pro. The first thing I want to mention is that this is a pre-production unit that has this black, what looks like vinyl material covering the unit. Sunlu has told me that the production units will have a transparent housing that will make it easy to see your filaments. Also, the interior of the pre-production unit is transparent, which allows you to see the internals. However, the production units will have a frosted semi-transparent black interior. The Sunlu Heater Upgrade module is so simple to install on the Bambu Lab AMS unit that it will take you longer to brush your teeth than it will be to install the Sunlu heater. And it doesn't have any irreversible modifications to the AMS. It's a matter of removing the lid from the existing AMS and replacing it with the Sunlu lid that has a controller and 2 heaters and fans that provide heating and drying of the spools of filament inside the AMS. I'll go into details of the installation in the next section of this video. If you need a special part made and you don't have a capability in-house, I have the answer for you. This brings me to the sponsor of today's video, PCBWay. PCBWay is a great resource for PCBs, CNC machining, sheet metal fabrication, injection molding, and various 3D printing, including metal printing. They are celebrating their 11th anniversary by offering customers many different sales and coupons. Their 11th anniversary ends in about 7 days, so you'll want to check them out before it ends. I have personally used their services to 3D print a stainless steel insert for my external spool Y-splitter insert. The stainless steel will ensure that it will never wear out from constant use. I went on their website, uploaded my Y-splitter insert design, selected stainless steel and quantity, and I received an instant quote. Then, after their engineering team reviewed and approved the quote, and they received my payment, they manufactured the parts and shipped them right to my door. Their customer service and quality of parts are excellent. Give them a try by using my affiliate link below. Now, back to the show. The Sunlu heater module has a manual slide vent to allow moisture to escape from the Sunlu/AMS system. The Sunlu heater has its own power supply and a user interface for the chamber, so it is completely independent of the Bambu Lab AMS. The Sunlu heater also allows you to dry your filaments while you are printing with your Bambu Lab printer. The Sunlu heater automatically switches to humidity mode after drying to maintain a preset relative humidity environment. It also has a drying time range of 0 to 99 hours. The Sunlu heater user interface allows you to choose a preset of drying conditions for PLA, PETG, TPU, ABS, PC, and PA, and a relative humidity mode. The Sunlu heater has a maximum temperature of 70 degrees C. So now let's compare the Sunlu heater features to the Bambu Lab AMS 2 Pro. The Sunlu heater has a maximum temperature setting of 70 degrees C, while the AMS 2 Pro has a maximum temperature setting of 65 degrees C. The AMS 2 Pro has an automatic chamber venting and sealing feature, while the Sunlu heater only has a manual vent feature. The Sunlu heater allows you to continue to dry the filaments while you are printing. However, the AMS2 Pro does not allow this at this time. Both the AMS2 Pro and the Sunlu heater heat the entire chamber, so the filaments will all need to be compatible with the temperature settings of the drying cycles. In other words, you can't mix materials that require different temperature settings. I placed 4 spools of PLA and started the drying cycle. The Sunlu heater took only 5 minutes for the chamber to reach the set point of 50 degrees C for PLA. I repeated the test by placing only 1 PA6 CF spool into the chamber, and it took 10 minutes for the chamber to reach the set point of 70 degrees C. I monitored the relative humidity for the PLA test, and initially it went down to 20% within 15 minutes. But then it started to rise to 26% over the next 1.5 hours. And then it gradually dropped to 25% after 5 hours. My theory is that it's possible that the moisture in the 4 spools of PLA filament was released as things heated up. So it was taking a while for the moisture to escape out of the manual vent in the top. What are your thoughts? Next, I set up this thermometer and 4 thermocouples to see how the temperature varied within the chamber. The first thermocouple was taped to the front bottom of spool number 1 position. The second thermocouple was taped to the exit of the heater fan. The third thermocouple was taped to the top of the spool in position number 2. The fourth thermocouple was taped to the core of spool number 2 position. The temperature near the heater fan varied from 68 degrees C to 92 degrees C. The temperature varied from 54 degrees C to 64 degrees C for the thermocouples at the bottom, front, and on top of the spool. The thermocouple taped to the spool cord took the longest to heat up to 60 degrees C, which I expected since I didn't think the airflow would be as high at the center of the spool. After 90 minutes, the thermocouples all converged to within a couple degrees of each other at a value of approximately 62 degrees C, so within about 8 degrees C of the Sunlu set point. After 3.5 hours, the thermocouples were within 1 degree of each other at an average of 62 degrees, so remaining within 8 degrees of the Sunlu set point. After a drying cycle is completed, the Sunlu heater automatically switches to a relative humidity mode, so the heater is designed to turn on when the humidity rises to 50% and shut off when it reaches 20%. The Sunlu heater and the AMS2 Pro use similar techniques to evenly heat the filaments. The Sunlu heater and the AMS2 Pro have heaters and circulating fans that move the air throughout the chamber. The AMS2 Pro also uses the motors in the AMS to rotate the spools for an additional even circulation. Both the Sunlu heater and the AMS2 Pro dry the following filaments: PLA, PETG, ABS, ASA, PET, PA, and PC. TPU is a bit tricky. The Sunlu heater is capable of drying the TPU, but once it's dried, it will need to be removed from the AMS for printing because the AMS is not capable of printing TPU because it's so flexible. On the other hand, the AMS2 Pro can't dry the TPU because it isn't capable of printing the TPU. Neither the Sunlu heater nor the AMS2 Pro can dry the higher temperature materials, especially glass-filled or carbon-filled materials. Now let's see what's involved with installing the Sunlu Heater Upgrade to an AMS. As I said earlier, it took the same amount of time to install the Sunlu heater on my AMS as it took me to brush my teeth, about 5 minutes. First, I removed the lid from my AMS. Sunlu provided a long Allen wrench which you really need to get to the lid screws. Now, since I just evaluated the iBoss AMS upgrade, they provided a nice long Allen head screwdriver. So I used that instead because it's much easier to use. Was that wrong of me? Then I installed the Sunlu heater module to the AMS. I installed the power cord, plugged it into an electrical outlet, and pressed the power switch on, and I was in business. Now let's talk cost. I just want to mention that Sunlu has their 12th anniversary sale going on right now. So you'll want to see all their sales offers. At the making of this video, July 11th of 2025, the Sunlu AMS heater has a pre-sale price from now until August 25th of $109.99, normally $119.99. The cost of AMS2 Pro is $359 plus $33 for a power adapter if you'll be drying filaments when it is hooked up to a P1 or X1 series printer. In my opinion, the Sunlu heater is for people that already have the original AMS units for their P1 series or X1 series of printers, and they want to add a drying function to their AMS units. Sunlu's standalone 4-spool filament dryer, the S4, costs $140. So it's actually cheaper to upgrade your existing Bambu Lab AMS with the Sunlu AMS heater at $110 versus buying a standalone Sunlu S4. Also, if you are tight on space, modifying your existing AMS with the Sunlu AMS heater takes up less space in your shop versus having to find room for a separate filament dryer. For anyone wanting to add an AMS to their P1 series or X1 series or H2D printers, the best solution would be to buy the AMS2 Pro at $392. It wouldn't be the best value to me to buy an AMS at $319 and add a Sunlu AMS heater at $110 for a total cost of $429. The Sunlu AMS heater has a maximum drying temperature of 70 degrees C, so it won't be able to dry the higher temperature engineering materials. If you are printing higher temperature engineering materials such as PC, PA6, or PA12 glass-filled or carbon-filled, or especially if you're printing PPACF or PPSCF, then you may want to consider the Sunlu FiliDryer E2 that has a maximum drying temperature of 110 degrees C. It's not cheap at $359, but it's the only filament dryer on the market that I know of that can reach a drying temperature of 110 degrees C. Final summary. This has been a brief look at the Sunlu AMS heater to add filament drying capabilities to your existing Bambu Lab AMS units. The Sunlu AMS heater allows you to continue to dry your filaments while printing. So this is a nice feature. Also, since it's completely independent of the AMS unit, it is not affected by Bambu Lab firmware updates. The Sunlu AMS heater brings some nice features to anyone who already owns an AMS and wants to add drying capabilities to their AMS. But for anyone who wants to add AMS capabilities to their existing P1 or X1 series printers, the most economical option would be to buy the AMS2 Pro at $392 versus buying an AMS at $319 and a Sunlu AMS heater at $110 at a total cost of $429. In one of my future videos, I will compare the Sunlu AMS heater to the newly launched iBoss Tetris AMS dryer upgrade, so you don't want to miss that. If you want to see my future video comparing the Sunlu AMS heater upgrade to the iBoss Tetris AMS dryer upgrade, when it's available, the link will be here. In the meantime, if you want to see my video titled iBoss Tetris Upgrade to the Bambu Lab AMS Better Than the AMS2 Pro, that link is here. Thanks for watching. Bye!